I'm joined now by Euan Rellie, Senior Managing Director and co-founder of the BDA Partners. They have expertise in negotiating international business deals, particularly in Asia. Euan, welcome to our program. Let me begin what Owen started us off on. Last week, President Trump confirmed the U.S. would impose 25% tariffs on $50 billion worth of Chinese goods. The Chinese came back and said, we are going to impose tariffs of our own. Now President Trump is saying, if the Chinese, in fact, do go ahead and retaliate, President Trump is going to retaliate on their retaliation. Is there an end game here?
There has to be an ending, Asya. Thanks for having me. There has to be an ending because this brinkmanship does no good to anybody, including to consumers on both sides of the Pacific.
So where do we go from here? Peter Navarro says, China is taking advantage of the United States and there's no new negotiation scheduled. I mean, don't these two sides have to get back to the bargaining table?
They certainly do have to get back to the bargaining table. Again, unless they come to a compromise, the public on both sides of the Pacific will suffer. There seems to be a brinkmanship and some machismo, particularly by the Trump administration at the moment, and I don't expect the Chinese side to back down quickly.
One of the other things that Navarro said, he said, this is a trade dispute, nothing more, nothing less. President Trump has a great relationship with President Xi. Can this administration have it both ways? From one side, waging a very complicated trade conflict, war, if you will, with China. From another side, needing China and basically saying President Xi is a great guy and we will maintain our friendship.
We have to coexist, and the Trump administration certainly cannot have it both ways. Even more complicated by the fact that the administration here in the U.S. is fighting at the same time with its closest allies in Canada and the EU. So some of this is clearly for domestic consumption. Some of this is the Trump administration wanting to be seen to be tough. And I'm not sure they've thought through really what they can hope to achieve.
Which side has more to lose here? We should remind our viewers congressional elections in the United States are in the fall.
Yes, I think both sides have a lot to lose. The popular opinion, which you'll see in the press a lot, is that China has more to lose because China sells 3 or 4 times as much to the U.S. every year as vice versa. But actually, I think both sides have a huge amount to lose. Remember that U.S. consumers and U.S. companies rely very much on raw materials and intermediate materials and all kinds of different exports coming out of China. Without those materials, U.S. consumers and U.S. companies will suffer drastically.
What about the financial markets? They do not like uncertainty, and this has clearly triggered a lot of that. The Dow is down some 200 points, 288 points. Are we going to keep seeing this kind of volatility on global markets?
I think part of the problem is that we're seeing very mixed messages, and the Trump administration occasionally tries to be conciliatory on issues like ZTE, but at the same time seems to be picking multiple fights with different economies all around the world. And I think economic markets who liked the deregulation, who liked the pro-business stance which the Trump administration has been promulgating up to this point, I think markets are beginning to worry that there's no end in sight and that, as I say, Trump is picking too many fights in too many different directions.
All right, we'll leave it there. Euan Rellie, thank you so much.